Take 103.
Hey, okay. Hello. I've been trying to make this video for days and days. And the reason why I'm having such a hard time is because it involves some conclusions that a lot of people are going to disagree with. And so I can just see and hear, objections in my ears. But what I wanted to talk about was when the government, whoever the powers would be decided, when they decide that something and put it into place involving great changes among the people, they're more or less, they're usually always going to be pretty wrong. They've not thought of this, they've not thought of that, and here we are. So he and I are seniors, and we who are nowadays, quite a privileged class. We live like millionaires. We've got, even though we're poor. Now, that's the first time that poor people have been able to live like millionaires. And what I mean by millionaires is we've got a maintenance to wait on us. If we even spill a drink in the elevator, we don't ever stoop to wipe it up. Or go get something and come back and wipe it up. No, we just go tell maintenance. Maintenance. And that's because, we know that nobody can prove who did it, and we're certainly not going to wipe up anybody else's spill, or if their dog goes to the...
And then, what I would kind of just want to interject here is that if your dog pees in the elevator, or you spill something in the elevator, or you pee in the elevator, you don't go over to the maintenance man or over to the guard and say, "Guess what I just did?"
Of course you don't.
Well,
so this has turned us all into liars, and we wouldn't think of of confessing that we did it.
I hardly ever go to the bathroom.
And also, now this apartment probably runs the government. The government pays. My apartment is 1 bedroom. I know what it is, and it's $750. I pay $200. Look, this is an idea that somebody had, subsidized housing for seniors. And seniors just love it. I live in Arizona, and we got more senior HUD housing than, I don't know. They just keep building them. Somebody, they're doing it very quietly now. They're not making any noise about it because, people started. Well, and here's the poor out there, just going to work, barely making it, having to pay full rent, and got kids, and I've always thought there was something screwed up about this. Give the seniors a break. They're the old ones. But I guess there got to be some seniors that was pretty powerful. And they decided that kids were apt to abuse their parents. And in the old days, if you look at it like that, I remember...
Come up with this stuff?
My grandparents, well, they've always abused them, according to some people. They'll tend I know my daughter, I tended her son until he was going to school. And she got into good enough shape with her job, and she finished college, to move out. And she told me, she said, "Well, Mom," she had a little boy, and she didn't have any husband. And so she said, "Mom, I've had nothing but bad luck with men, and I'm going to have to raise this child by myself, and so you're going to have to help me. So would you please move out of your subsidized housing apartment and just move in with me, live with me for the rest of your life?" And I said, "You're probably going to have to live with me the rest until he gets, I was glad to do it. And I said, "Well, okay." So I moved out, and it wasn't very long at all until she fell in love and said, "Well, I think this guy's really good. He's
I don't
even
like that
offered
term.
to, I think he'll even help me raise my son. And so I thought, well, that's great. I mean, it was unbelievable. So, but that's just an example of how grandparents were used. But now, there's nobody to protect us in subsidized housing. Like in the old days, if mom, me, took up with an old, and he took advantage of me, I have to say, he's bigger than I am. And he offered me money, everything else. And then I found out he's one of the worst alcoholics that's ever walked the earth. And in the old days...
I think you set a new record. You've gone for a full 5 minutes without denigrating my character or calling
Character is just the truth. It's just
the biggest POS you've ever made.
This is just the truth, and this is what you find in these subsidized housing. You find old birds like him laying in wait, just ready to grab a good woman, and he saw a good woman.
I'm still waiting, okay?
Oh yeah, a good woman.
Still looking like
one
you
that
are.
doesn't drink, doesn't smoke.
Good luck for
Because
that.
he doesn't like
myself.
drinkers. He's one himself, but he's found out they're an irresponsible bunch of women, and after a few bad experiences with women that did take the beers he offered them, he decided that. So anyway, the kids, in the old days, if mom took up an old alcoholic founder, in the neighborhood or something, they'd say, "My God, have you seen Mom's latest boyfriend? He's an old alcoholic." And then it'd go through the whole family. And in those days, they had big families. And so by the time it got around, there would be sons that was like, "He's taking advantage of Mom. She's over there cooking for him. He's just, he's a terrible old guy." And everybody'd be just all of them in a conference to try to get Mom. And so then they'd say, "Well, I'll take her away and we'll try to break that up." But now your kids don't, they don't rescue
Why do you
you.
come up with these things?
Well, it's the truth, because I remember how, and I remember my
but you
grandmother,
came out
they
of
would
the-
pass
You
her
came out of the
around.
boondocks. I came
And
back
I
from
can
halfway
remember
civilized
when
society.
one son, and then there was another bad thing happened, the war. The war came along, and
Which
everybody
war?
had to go all, World War
The
II.
Civil War or the
They had to
America?
go, that's the war I remember. They had to go
Spanish
all over the world to fight this war, and so come back. Why they'd act like, "Well, I've always wanted to live in California. I think I'll go to California and live." They just come back from around the world, and it was nothing, so they went down there, left all their family, and it broke up families.
Works for me,
It broke up families because when they weren't all living around in, kind of in the same city, they couldn't really help each other. They lost all track of each other. I have cousins. I don't even know them. I've maybe seen them a couple of times in my life, and it used to be that when I was growing up that I knew all my cousins. I was
Are you sure you didn't grow up in Appalachia?
I was taught
somewhere out
to believe
there
that
in the,
my cousins were just about as important as my own sisters, and they, and if you don't have, my cousins would, and so anything that breaks up a family, the family, anybody should know what's bad for families, what breaks up families.
Well, we did this when we broke up all the Indian tribes.
I know.
See, families were in the tribe. If you weren't in the family, you weren't in the tribe.
That's
you
right.
had a
This is
tribe
how
here,
man
a tribe here,
survived.
And then the tribes would come over and kill each other and steal each other's. Well, one of the things that tribes learned, which probably some people haven't, is that too much inbreeding got some pretty weird situations coming through. And, you've also learned that
Listen,
from
my
why do
family.
they call them hillbillies?
I had a big family. My family learned about this, and my mother would give us all lectures. Don't fall in love with your cousin, because you'll have feeble-minded kids.
I never.
You know, that was enough.
That's true. My mother and father used to always tell me, they would say, son, whatever you do, don't fall in love with this girl that's living with us. Okay, that's not your sister, that's your cousin. Okay, but still don't fall in love with her.
Right, they had some sense. Give them give people credit for having a little sense, government. I just can't believe government. Now, see, here's another thing government's done is, could I afford to smoke if I was paying the full price for this apartment? And if he was paying the full price, could he afford to drink? He drinks probably 2 or 3 times as much now because he can afford it.
Well, what's the point?
He can afford
what's the
it.
point you're trying to make here?
Well, it's bad for addiction. All the seniors are flocking to these places so they can smoke and drink and eat, to their hearts, much more. They don't have to curb themselves. They can have all they want. They can go to market,
Well, they don't have any families.
Grandmas were poor. They couldn't afford to go to market
They
and
don't
bring
have
home.
any families
and
to take care of and abuse the hell out of them.
Yeah, right.
And
They
listen,
don't
all my
have
stepkids, if any of you say this, come on over and abuse me a little bit. I'm getting tired of being abused by one person. You can all come over at the same time, just let me know who your mother is. So
Yeah, right. And they say, oh, we're getting Alzheimer. Well, good heavens, if you haven't seen your kids for years, you could forget what they look like. In fact, there's a woman in here, I told her, I said, well, don't your kids, had you got any kids? Oh yeah, she had 3. Well, don't they ever come and see you? And she said, no, I'm hiding out for you.
like that one.
And I said, hiding out?
I'm not really hiding out.
And
I'm
she
in the phone
said,
book,
and this was a very spoiled
YouTube.
woman, I thought. She said, they're the kind of kids that bring their kids over to you and say, I'll be back and get them in a little while, and they don't come back for 2 months. And I thought, oh, God help the kids that she left them there.
I think I saw it on
Now she's
television
hiding
one
out,
time,
so
yeah.
they can't come over.
I saw that on a television show.
I don't call that a good grandma. I call a grandma that was good, sacrifices her life willingly for her grandkid. Oh, look at him. He's just a
You
selfish
see,
old,
both of my grandparents.
selfish as he can be.
No,
He's an only child.
Both,
Unfortunately,
Well,
didn't have
yes.
any brothers and sisters.
well, I
He
did
had
have a
one
brother who
that
died about 2 years
and,
earlier than me. When I
and
died at 6,
so-
he died at...
But my kids, I would just say, I just thought, how could I get away from this alcoholic? And he can't. He can't. My kids can't. They can't even. They're not even in communication with each other, let alone in conferences and so on about because the government's taking over. They say they're doing better than we are.
Who?
We're doing better than our kids. We don't have to worry about a thing. We're waited on.
Who the hell waits on me? Nobody waits on me.
Well, like I said, maintenance. All you have to do is, unless your sink runs over, you don't fix it. You just call maintenance. Get up here and fix this sink. These damn pipes in here. Blah blah blah. And
Don't make me tase you one more time, you're not gonna like
And
that.
in the old days, even Grandpa might have been down there fixing the sink himself.
Well, yes, my grandparents
yeah.
were entirely different than whatever yours were, They had a house, and they had, my dad, I think he had 7 brothers and sisters, and my mother had 5, and one of them died, and, that was big family, and they didn't, that's pretty much it, Parents were both workers, and my grandparents both worked until they were dead, or,
Well, anyway, then, and then, of course, we're at the mercy of all these old outlaw seniors. I just had a terrible experience. I went over to play pool to a senior center. They have those, and where you get a meal for $2. We get breaks everywhere. We get free stuff, and people are all the time wanting to give us stuff for practically nothing. And
Nobody's giving me anything for nothing.
well,
What
you won't even walk outside the house to get it. But
house
me,
is- this is
I
not
went to a
house.
senior citizen for a $2 lunch, and while I was there, this old Betty that was running things over there, a volunteer, an old senior, she gave me the evil eye for
Evil.
at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And of course, do you think the government can stop this old Betty? Are you kidding? That's the last thing she can do. So she's giving me like, we don't want your kind over here. What are you doing over here? And
Well, I tell you what now, if I
I'm
saw a
going
woman
like, oh
with a
my
butcher
God.
knife going like this, come on over. Yeah, we'd like to see you over here. Come on over, you know.
oh yeah.
Yeah, come on over here.
Do you think the manager knows she's doing that? Are you kidding?
Who knows?
Management can hardly keep up with all the paperwork. Like this. You know, when we sign our lease, each one of us has about this high a stack of paperwork we got to sign, and management doesn't hardly get anything done. Do you think they can keep track of seniors? Are you kidding? So,
Well, you just told me you're
and
living in
I
lap
went
of
over
luxury.
to have lunch, so
I was a
she
millionaire. I
ruined
wouldn't
my
be-
lunch, my $2 lunch, by giving me.
I wouldn't be eating a $2 lunch. That's for
give
sure.
me
I'm a
the-
millionaire.
So now I can't go back over there anymore because she gave me the evil eye, and I don't know what she'd do to me next.
Well,
And
do you want to
then
tell?
I played pool.
There you go. This is
And-
this is sad, folks. This is an attempt on a person's life. With
Yes, and this old
assault
senior,
with a
this old
assault with a
outlaw
billiard ball. Boy,
senior
that's really.
who apparently thinks it's a crime they ever let a woman into a pool billiards parlor
Well,
or
it
pick
is.
up
It
a
is. It's a
stick.
crime. It's definitely a crime.
guess what
Look
he
it up.
did?
It's on the books.
I'd break the balls, and he would stand at the end, and before I could even get out of the way, I'd barely lift the rack, he would slam that. He would break that ball so damn hard that the balls would fly right off the table, past me,
Jeez.
and I'd be going like, and I thought, my God, I finally realized that he was hitting pool balls at me. So I thought, what can I do? What can I do? And so I was still continuing on playing with him, and so I just grabbed the rack, ran as fast as I could up the other side, and as fast as my legs could carry me. And so I got out of harm's way, and then that made him mad because he would probably have hit me if it hadn't been very
Well, you
much
had to pick
longer.
him up and throw him.
What's wrong with him
Yeah.
is he's into dementia, obviously.
We aren't.
Management could
Yeah.
not stop
We're
him
very sane people.
from
yeah.
trying to hit me with bull balls. And he's a very, very good hitter, so I was in dire danger of being hit the whole time. So after I got over the other side, then he was very irritated.
You got 3 minutes.
I had
okay?
gone
3 minutes.
been able to get about myself. So on the one day I was attacked by this old aging senior pool player who probably regards himself as one of the greatest pool players that has ever walked this part of the country, and to have to play with a woman is so beneath his dignity,
That's right.
so
I told you.
outrageous.
Told you one of those.
I know how these old seniors think. I know. I could read his mind. I shouldn't have to put up with this.
Well, here's the situation.
After all
You
the
don't
great
you don't
pool
understand
matches
it.
I have won.
See,
Just any old
Pool-
woman
pool has
can walk
sexual-
in here and play
pool has
with the
sexual
great.
connotations. Pool has sexual connotations of which there are. Woman is not involved. A
Oh.
man brings a stick to the table. He's got
Exactly.
He's got balls, which you don't have. The
Exactly.
only reason they got pockets on there is to remind them, oh, that's where it's supposed to go, in the hole there. Yes, okay. Now you got 1 minute, so finish up.
So I'm just still recovering. I am still recovering.
I didn't know they did
And
that
this
pool was a sex
problem has
game.
gotten so bad that if I don't get killed, it's going to be a wonder. Because
I'll tell you several people right
but
now.
I better not go to that senior center.
I'm
Senior,
thinking about
I have
doing
found
that
that
right
senior
now.
centers are pretty dangerous.
That's
In
right.
one day, those two things both happened to me.
That's right.
My lunch is cut off, and now my pool. I can't play pool because, good heavens,
Oh my
God men
God.
are now
You got your-
controlling.
You've had your stick in your balls cut off all both at the same
So,
time. See?
yeah, so,
That's
so
right.
I'm, so,
Are we done?
can government, they're just like the projects.
Are we
The
done?
seniors have got too much time on their hands. They don't have any kids to tend. They don't have nothing to do. And they have turned rogue. So, it's your own fault, for leaving. It's just,
Round one is over, folks.
this old alcoholic, I can't get away from him no matter what I do.
That's right. I got.
Cause why? Why?
Show 'em the
'Cause
little ankle
I don't
bracelet I
hardly
got
know
there.
my kids anymore. My grandkids, I haven't seen them for years. So here I am, stuck. I had keep company.
Reminds me of the
This
stuck in the
old guy.
middle with you. Stuck in the middle. with
Used to
you.
be, your kids kept a lot better track of
Crazies
you
to my left. Smokers to my right. I'm stuck in the middle with you.
My kids are becoming powerless too in the way the government interferes, and what they come up with is not any better, but it gets everybody all off kilter.
Cut.